Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another one of these unscripted discussion videos, and this time we're talking about streaming services, specifically streaming services that originated here in the UK, often from our main terrestrial channels. I prompted this idea from the recent news regarding Netflix. You might have noticed that a report came out saying that in the last quarter they lost almost 1 million subscribers, which is down to a combination of things. You know, you've got increased competition from like Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, Paramount Plus has recently launched here, things like that. But also, you know, we're tightening belts, the cost of living's going up, people are having to make sacrifices, and streaming services obviously fall below important things like food, making sure your bills are paid, electricity, things like that. So it made me think about the streaming services we have here and what sort of state they're in, and a common question that's being bandied about is like competing. Can they compete with things like Netflix, Disney, Amazon, etc.? So starting off with the BBC, of course, their main thing is BBC iPlayer. This has been going for quite a time, I think like 2007, 2008 here in the UK. And of course its premise, I'm sure you all know, but for those of you who maybe don't, it's basically a hub where you can watch BBC programmes, you can watch it live, you can watch programmes that have recently aired, and most of the programmes are available for a very long time, and a lot of older programmes get put back on there after a while. My favourite show, Doctor Who, for example, you can currently watch all a series of the revival, so from 2005 onwards, which is great. If maybe you don't have access to the DVDs, the Blu-rays, etc., you can just access it here on the iPlayer, and it's all free. Technically, you need a TV license. I've never been sure how they monitor that. Sometimes it asks you, you know, do you have a TV license? And you just click yes, but I'm not really sure how they monitor that. But it is free. You do have to make an account now, I think, to actually watch stuff. But again, that's free. It's just a username and password, all that jazz there. And I mean, I've used iPlayer a lot in the near 15 years it's been around. I think it's fair to say quite a few of us have, whether that's catching up on programs we've missed, or going back to older programs that we used to love, or just watching live when we're not near an actual television. I know I've done that. If I've had my laptop, say if I'm away working and there's a big news story going on and where I am doesn't have a TV, because that's becoming more common, would you believe, I can just watch it live on my laptop via the iPlayer. So recently I found this. So this was posted in the 24th of June on digitaltveurope.com, and it says BBC opens public interest test consultation on the future of iPlayer. And it states as such, in the fact of intensifying competition and a charging media landscape, the pubcaster is seeking the freedom to improve and increase the availability of programmes on BBC iPlayer by gaining authorisation to publish any titles on BBC iPlayer in line with its agreements with producers and underlying rights holders, including the availability of any returning series as full series box sets. It goes on to say the BBC said in its consultation document that it was not proposing to change the standard 12-month availability of programmes or any other change that would require a renegotiation of our terms of trade with producers, organisers, PACT. So they're just basically giving out a consultation to try and see if they can broaden their horizons with the iPlayer, I guess make it more in line with what sites like Netflix do with like full series box sets and stuff like that. I mean, this consultation ends in early August, and then the BBC are claiming they're going to publish those results from this public interest test later this year. But I think the future of iPlayer at the minute looks bright. I mean, the BBC, as a lot of channels are going with this digital-led approach for the near future. I mean, we've already had announcements that traditional channels such as CBBC and BBC4 in a few years' time, maybe by 2025, they'll be going off traditional TV and be moving solely to the iPlayer. And especially, I guess, for, you know, either younger children for CBBC or those who like BBC4, accessing that sort of content online is now no longer like a taboo thing. We're all very much accustomed to streaming services. So it seems like they're very much placing all their focus onto the iPlayer as like the main hub of BBC content, which works. I mean, I think it's a fairly robust operating system. I've never really had many issues with it over the years. So I think the iPlayer is just going to go from strength to strength, to be honest with you. I don't see it dying out. And in terms of competing, I mean, who knows of the future at the BBC at the minute, you know, plans of scrapping the license fee and all this. So maybe the iPlayer will go subscription based. We're not really sure. That's still a few years away. But I'd like to think the future of the iPlayer looks pretty bright. Next, jumping over to ITV, if you type in ITVX, you'll be seeing this website which says this: get ready for Britain's freshest streaming service launching in 2022, as if there aren't enough of them already. ITVX It's the new streaming home of all of ITV and so much more, with exclusive new series launching every week, an ever-changing library of blockbuster movies and the nation's biggest live events, curated themed channels, thousands of box sets, and the ability to access BritBox all in one place. Can I just say aesthetically before we do anything else, how similar does this look to like the original Xbox branding from back in like 2001, 2002? It's not quite Xbox green, but it's sort of like a very bright green. Obviously there's a big X in the background. The styling of the X in the logo sort of reminds me of the original Xbox logo. It just looks very similar. You know, 20 years, guys, it was some time ago, but we remember what the Xbox was. This is giving me major Xbox vibes. So it says launching 2022. I'm guessing we're now talking that's going to be in the autumn or later. And let's get a bit more information on what ITVX actually is. So this article is coming from whattowatch.com, and it was actually written last month in June, and it says ITVX is heading our way later this year, with the broadcaster confirming the new on-demand service will become the new streaming home of ITV and will eventually replace the ITV Hub, which is what they currently have now. So ITV's chief executive, Caroline McCall, said the digital acceleration we're announcing today builds on everything we have achieved in phase 1 of our more than TV strategy. Oh, we're dealing in phases now. ITVX will be a free service supported by adverts with a compelling subscription proposition. This is fantastic for viewers. It will provide a simplified and seamless experience with thousands of hours of free content made up of both library and original exclusive content. The subscription tier will provide a premium offering and includes all of the content ad-free, as well as BritBox and future SVOD content partners. Right, okay, so we're going with this sort of model, because obviously ITV is the UK's oldest commercial broadcaster, first launching in 1955, so it's approaching its 70th birthday within a few years. And that is its main funding. It is funded by advertisements. So having a simple service where you get all of the ITV content with ads, I guess that won't feel too jarring to ITV viewers, because I mean, that's how you consume ITV anyway, most of the time. The subscription tier offering ad-free content obviously is a enticing proposition if you just can't stand adverts. I mean, I'm a bit indifferent to them, to be honest. And it includes all the content ad-free as well as BritBox. So that is the big thing. So BritBox currently is its own streaming service, which is created by the BBC and ITV, which might be a bit misleading because ITV apparently sort of curates or funded 90% of it, whilst the BBC only put in 10%. So you can argue it's mainly an ITV thing, which kind of makes sense that it's being folded into ITVX. So just continuing on with this article, we'll come to BritBox in a minute. What does it say? Can you watch ITVX for free? Yes, it's revealed that it will allow people to stream new programme exclusives with adverts for free, ranging from premium ITV dramas, documentaries, US series, comedy, and reality shows to blockbuster films. But you can also pay to have the service without adverts, and subscribers will also have access to BritBox. BritBox has also content from the BBC, Channel 4 and Channel 5, and will remain as a standalone service. And ITVX will also offer viewers the flexibility to view ad-free for a limited monthly fee. A subscription will also give viewers access to an additional 6,000 hours of content through BritBox UK, but we don't have the pricing just yet. Okay, let's just double back to the BritBox situation. So it's saying it will remain as a standalone service, but if you get an ITVX subscription, then you will get BritBox for free. I did wonder how they were going to do this, because just flipping onto BritBox for a second, looking at this article from Cordbusters, which is sort of announcing the change. I mean, BritBox has sort of had a bit of a bumpy go at it here in the UK. It was available in the US for some time before, but here it's sort of been a bit hit or miss. So there's that figure saying BritBox started its life as a joint venture between ITV and the BBC, 90% and 10% respectively, and it aims to be the home of British TV, which is very much its niche, you know, I mean, hence the name. It gives, I guess that's why it's had a bit more success in America, giving US viewers an easier chance to access tons of British TV from time gone by, rather than, say, importing DVDs or just watching it illegally or things like that. So I guess it's why it's done well over there. Here, obviously, there's a great nostalgia for a lot of classic British TV shows. We're very fond of like our comedies, our dramas, but maybe that appeal isn't as strong, I guess, in like a wider sense. There was, of course, some device availability issues when it first launched here in the UK, but its pricings remain pretty consistent. I mean, still currently it's £5.99 a month or £60 a year, so you'd be saving, quick maths, you're saving about £12 there, and you can usually get the free trial. And I mean, that's one of the cheaper streaming services these days, especially compared to Netflix, for example. Bear in mind, this article was posted in March 2022, and it says there that ITV claimed that it had 733,000 subscribers and 6,000 hours of British content, and financially in 2021, however, the BritBox UK made a venture loss of £61 million, which is insane. So yeah, not doing as great as the others to start with. It has a bit of information on ITVX, claiming the free one will have 15,000 hours of content as opposed to ITV Hub's current 4,000 hours, so that's a massive leap, isn't it? And the premium tier, yes, it will offer the content without adverts. So the 6,000 hours of additional content mentioned in the other article is seemingly the BritBox stuff. I did wonder if it was going to be like extra stuff from ITV themselves, but I mean, yeah, if you are getting hold of BritBox in the subscription, that's pretty decent. It says here, furthermore, we're told BritBox will no longer produce original content on its own. Instead, ITV will produce originals for ITVX. That's obviously another big thing of the streaming services, isn't it? Trying to make original programs. Netflix spearheaded that back in 2013-14 and has been doing it ever since. Some would argue maybe too much. And you're seeing it now. Disney Plus, of course, is doing it with their big brands like Marvel and Star Wars. And BritBox did do a few originals. I didn't actually watch any of them, so I don't know if they were any good. But, you know, they're not cheap to make, making your own original series. So, it makes sense that ITV is going to streamline that for ITVX. Interestingly, though, here, it says BBC steps out of BritBox UK, saying ahead of these changes and in order to give ITV greater control over BritBox and enable its integration into ITVX, the BBC has ceased to be a shareholder in BritBox UK and has sold its 10% stake to ITV. So ITV, I guess, is the sole owner of BritBox now. Although it says the BBC will continue to provide content for BritBox with a long-term content deal, including the 600 plus episodes of classic Doctor Who, big win there, and the BBC also provides content to other streaming services around the world, including Netflix, which is still true. Channel 4 and 5 say they're still committed to BritBox UK, which offers consumers a large library of the majority of PSB, public service broadcasting, British content in one place from the past and recent past. And the article sort of finishes off with one interesting thing, because the other article we looked at said that BritBox will remain a standalone service. However, but it's implied here it's going to be more within ITVX and not a major service on its own, similar to what Star is on Disney+. So Star obviously is a more, I guess, adult-centric part of Disney+, showing a lot more dramas, a lot of stuff that's less family-friendly, for example. So it's saying BritBox might be like that. And then there's the whole thing of subscriptions, because ITVX hasn't confirmed its pricing structure. And it's the article quite rightly can't confirm it, but it's saying there's a good chance you won't be able to subscribe to BritBox directly anymore, and you'll be directed to ITVX with the bigger content library. However, since BritBox UK also offers an annual subscription, it means some subscribers will have an active subscription to it when ITVX launches. So it's the whole thing there, like, you know, what do you do? Do you just give them an ITVX subscription? Do you give them a discount? It all depends on what ITVX's pricing structure is. Cordbusters were told the existing subscribers will be migrated over to ITVX, presumably at no extra cost, at least for the remainder of their annual subscription, letting them enjoy BritBox's existing content library and ITVX's additional content. It concludes by saying pricing details for ITVX haven't been announced yet, but with BritBox currently costing £5.99 a month and the ITV Hub Plus, which is the ad-free version of ITV Hub, costing £3.99 a month, we can assume ITVX's premium tier will be priced around the £6 to £8 a month mark, perhaps with cheaper annual deals, which makes sense to keep it around there if you're sort of combining the two together. And maybe for those BritBox subscribers, you know, if you've still got your subscription, you might only have to pay, you know, like say a couple of quid to make it up, or they might give it you for free as part of an integration plan, who knows. What makes ITVX interesting as well is, you can watch live TV through it, which is great. I think that's a prerequisite these days. But it says, does it have exclusive content? And it's the first article from What to Watch says, there are a number of programmes that will debut on ITVX first, before arriving on ITV's broadcast channels 6 to 9 months later. So that's a big gap between the digital and linear TV. If you're wanting to watch things as soon as they release, ITVX is the place to be. The broadcasters confirmed that it will feature 35 flagship shows, 250 plus films and 200 plus series available at launch, plus 150 plus hours of true crime programs, in which, I mean, God, they're big here, aren't they? Including exclusives Monster in My Family and The Case Against Cosby. So that roughly is ITVX. I mean, very exciting on the whole. I mean, this is what they're trying to go for this whole digital-led future. This is what ITV will be, replacing the Hub. And I think it's a smart move now that, I mean, ITV are the sole shareholders or the main owners of BritBox now that the BBC's ducked out of it. I think it makes sense to, you know, why not take all that British content over the past God knows how many decades and fold it into your streaming service, sort of like Star does on Disney+. I think that's a great idea. I think as long as they keep the cost manageable, I think if you cost it under £10, people might be more tempted to go for the premium service, but I can also envision that a lot of people will just go with the ad version because, as I said, if you watch ITV traditionally, if you're not pre-recording your programs where you can skip them, you are watching adverts. Like, that's just part of ITV, isn't it? So I can see a lot of people going for the free version, but if they do this right, if they integrate BritBox well, if they market it well, if they keep the price reasonable, then I think ITVX could be a dark horse surprise success in this increasingly cluttered streaming market. Channel 4, on the other hand, this is an article from 2020 where it says they set out their digital future, which is basically saying part of the new strategy. The chief executive said that future commissioning would be aimed at driving All 4's numbers, which All 4, for those who don't know, is Channel 4's like on-demand streaming service, similar to how the other terrestrial channels work at the minute. You can watch live programs, you can catch up on programs you've just missed. Often there's box sets ranging from a few years ago to several years ago. They all sort of follow that similar format. When you look at it here, it is free. Obviously, there are advertisements, although if you notice at the top right of the website, it says no time for ads, upgrade to All 4 Plus. Now, All 4 Plus mainly advertises the fact that it's ad-free. The banner says 1,500 shows ad-free, watch your favourites throughout the ads. You can do a 14-day free trial, and similar to the ITV Hub at present, it's £3.99 a month thereafter. Which, again, is fantastic if you can't stand adverts, you don't even want to look at them. £3.99 for all that content, and again, there's so much. I think that's not too bad of a deal. So a payment plan already sort of exists. They haven't really announced that they're going to change up All 4. I mean, Channel 4 is in a very precarious position right now. Earlier this year, there was talks that it was going to be privatized, which drew immense backlash from, I think, many people in the industry, obviously those who work at Channel 4, and even just regular folk as well. But I mean, that might all change. Obviously, in the government right now, at the time of recording this, in late July, a new Prime Minister is to be decided, and with a new Prime Minister will undoubtedly come a radically different cabinet. So it probably means that Nadine Dorries, the culture sec, who arguably doesn't know anything about the culture she's the secretary of, will not be in that position by September of this year.
Particularly when it's in receipt of taxpayers' money.
It's not in receipt of licence fee money. It makes its money from commercial operations.
Yeah.
And from what's indicated, a lot of the potential leader candidates that have been asked this question have sort of cited that either privatising Channel 4 is something they don't want to do, or it's low on their priority list. So I guess that's one saving grace. So Channel 4 might be alright, but keeping All 4, I think, as is, just works great. It's Channel 4 has a lot of great content to offer, and I'm sure it'll be getting some revenue streams from the programmes it will put on BritBox as well. So I think that can stick around. Then finally we have Channel 5, everyone's favourite. Oh yeah, they exist. It's mad, isn't it, that you think Channel 5 is actually 25 years old this year, but it hangs around, it does it. Its on-demand / streaming service is My5. Again, very similar operating to Channel 4. You can watch live TV, you can catch up on programmes you've just missed, or some various box sets. I don't know if the list is as expansive, shall we say, as Channel 4. I mean, obviously Channel 5's a bit younger. It's got things for kids, it's got things for adults, it's got all the stuff you'd expect there. And it covers all the different channels, so, Channel 5, 5 USA, 5 Star, 5 Action, and 5 Select. Now, as far as I can see, this is a free service, obviously with advertisements again, just like the TV channel is. I don't think there's a paid one. I can't see any options saying, buy this now. So if there is, you might have to let me know. But as far as I can see, My5 is just completely free. There is no subscription service involved. I think maybe if they want to earn a bit of money, they might introduce that. And I think as long as they keep it sort of similar to ITV Hub and All 4, around £3.99 a month, then they'll do all right. But I don't know how many people are willing to pay for it. Maybe that's why they haven't done it. Maybe they assess the demand just isn't there for a service that is just dedicated to Channel 5 programming. That's not to diss them or anything, but when you do research, if the demand's not there, there's no point in launching it. And again, they'll be getting some revenue from the programs that they ship over to BritBox. I'm sure there'll be a deal there. So I guess out of all of the terrestrial ones, My5 might disappear, but I mean, it depends on the operating cost, doesn't it? Again, as I said at the start, this is all based on Netflix, the fact that they've lost 1 million subscribers in the last quarter. Not as bad as they thought, because, I mean, the new Stranger Things premiered, and that was, immense. I haven't watched it myself, but it seems like everyone has seen it. And, I mean, it's partly due to the price hikes. I mean, in the US, the standard plan is now $15.49. Here in the UK, it's £6.99. So not too bad, but still places like BritBox are currently cheaper. And as the article says, when you're the leader of the market, the only way is down, understandably. And there's a lot more competition and getting the right sort of content. They're not investing as much as they used to. And I mean, Netflix operates a lot based on debt. They borrow so much of their money to make these programs. And if that model collapses in the future, then Netflix are out, man. Netflix are gone. So they seem to be all right for now. They're slipping. But in terms of our humble terrestrial services, I think each of them seemingly has found their place and is doing their best to maintain it. I mean, just to summarize, the iPlayer is getting a lot of boost and a lot of investment from the BBC as part of the digital-led strategy, so I don't see that going anywhere. If anything, I think more traditional TV channels from the BBC are just going to disappear over the next few years. ITVX is probably the most interesting one so far because it's due to launch. It's incorporating BritBox, so it's doing more of that Disney Plus style where you're taking another brand and amalgamating it in. The price hopefully will be fairly low if you want the subscription version, but you've also got the advertising version. And again, hopefully, since people are used to ads from ITV, that might not hinder them in that sense. Same with all four of my five, really. Both are in advertisements. Channel 4 might have the slight upper hand, the fact that it does have a ad-free version if you want to do that. Again, as far as the website implies, my 5 does not have a version of this. If it does, please let me know in the comments if I've missed it. But as far as I know, this one is completely free. So yeah, that's all for this video. It's a bit of a longer one, but I think it's interesting to talk about. So let me know what you think in the comments. Out of these main terrestrial services, do you have a favourite? Do you have one that you use the most? Do you think any of these will die out in, say by 2030? Do you think by 2030 all of these UK-based streaming services will still exist? Let me know in those comments. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We'd love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Jen Samantha Pringle, JPK Live, Anna Art, Adam Martyn's biggest fan, Max Jackson, Kelly is Live, Tracy Smith, Britney Fan 1999, Hooks Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry Holt, The Welsh Lady, Tajan the Video Editor 820, Bruce Danton, The Broken Kitsumanoid, and Cooking at Nans and DIY, are AMTV staff members.